1980s, Pablo Escobar became the richest drug dealer in history. Before his death, Escobar buried millions of dollars around Colombia. Most of that money has yet to be found. Now, two former CIA officers,
I want to run him as a source,
will infiltrate the drug kingpin's inner circle.
There's a building up here that Pablo and his gang used to hang out in.
I don't care about rumors anymore. I want facts.
We got that security situation.
To find Escobar's hidden millions.
There's definitely some metal in there.
Oh, it looks like a box.
It's big.
Welcome to Colombia, South America, a country twice the size of Texas. What if I told you there was over $1 billion buried here? This was the center of cocaine production and distribution for 10 years, and the lion's share of it was run by one guy, Pablo Escobar. At the height of his power, he was making over $60 million a day, cash. If you stack that many $100 bills, it would be higher than Mount Denali. And he lived good. Cars, planes, houses, women, 3 private zoos. But banks wouldn't take the money, and he couldn't spend it fast enough. It just kept coming. So he starts to bury it, barrels filled with cash, thousands of them, all over Colombia. At one point, 20% of all American $100 bills were buried here. So the question is, where did it go? That's a lot of money. Why hasn't it been found? I was in the intelligence community for 10 years. I developed a set of skills to find people, to get them to talk, and to get to the truth. And I did it in some of the most dangerous places on earth. If a guy like me from Ohio can infiltrate the Taliban and trace their IED supply lines, I can sure as hell get to the bottom of this mystery, legend, myth, whatever you want to call it. But I'm not going to be able to do it alone.
What's up? How are you? Nice boots.
Nice Jays.
I'm Ben Smith. That's my alias. I don't use my real name because I'm not out as a spy until basically now.
You want to drive?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Alright.
Get to know the streets?
Sure. I worked for the CIA for a number of years as a case officer.
Ooh, cuidado. Been a while since you've been on the equator, huh?
Yeah. Which way does the toilet flush here?
After resigning from the agency, Doug and I got together and started to plan our own missions. When Doug comes to me with this idea to go look for Pablo Escobar's money, I immediately latched onto it.
We're both out now, so we have the skill set of being able to find people who don't want to be found. Turn that into finding anything. Hit it. Woo! They didn't like that. Start by that. We have permission to be here from the Colombian government, so we're going to approach the hunt for Pablo's money like an operation. In order to do that, we're going to have to, 1, develop sources. We need to get to people who knew Pablo. We need to convince them to work with us. 2, run technical operations. We're going to use the technology to find the locations where the money could be buried. 3, we're going to dig. Straight through. I've been here for a week getting set up. It's generally pretty safe here, and the Colombian people have been wonderful. But we're about to ruffle some feathers and kick the hornet's nest. So we need to have a place that only we have access to, that only we know about. Turn right now. Right now. There is no perfect safe house, but the best that you can get would be off the beaten path a little bit, but still blending into its environment, so no one suspects it's a safe house. That's what we have. Here we go, man. Whoa! Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Like? ¿Te gusta?
Yeah. This is a bat cave, huh?
Yeah, man, this is it. You want to be Batman or Robin?
This is cool, man. Yeah, this would be perfect.
You like that?
Yes.
I thought you might.
I do. Got it all kitted out.
Comm center here.
Cool. Got a couple locations already.
I'm gonna take you to the barrio. I mean, it's legit. Our goal in Medellin is to get inside Barrio Escobar. Pablo built a fortress inside this city, and we're going to search it for hidden treasure. The guys that I want to talk to are bad dudes. You know, the assassins, people like that. The food money at all. Gotta be the guys you know. In order to do that, we got to make contact with somebody in the underworld who knew Pablo. We need to convince them to work with us and to help us. I want to walk around, I want to talk to the guys on the street.
I'm gonna fly into Bogota. I'm gonna learn everything there is to know about Pablo, and especially his coletas, places he buried his money.
If we want to be successful on this mission, I need to break out one of my oldest and best skill sets, which is research.
Looks like we got our work cut out for us. Where's your money, Pablo?
Pablo's legacy, Pablo's image, it's everywhere throughout Medellin. You can't escape it. It's on shirts, people are vending it, people are selling stickers, and it's giving me an idea of what I'm up against. Escobar's legacy is most apparent in a drug cartel called Oficina de Envigado. Oficina de Envigado was formed from former sicarios, former assassins that worked for Pablo Escobar, and they're still heavily recruiting on the streets today. They pull a lot of their current members from the Medellin barrios. So definitely guys we need to be alert for, aware of, and stay clear of as best we can. If I want to get close to a sicario, or I want to get close to somebody who knew Pablo Escobar, where do you think I'm going to find them? I'm going to find them in the street. My Spanish is a little bit rusty. I speak it enough to be dangerous. I speak it enough for you to know exactly what I want, but I'm picking up things on the fly. My goal is to get to somebody who not only knew Pablo Escobar, but maybe knew his secrets. So I gotta turn as many rocks as I can. Hey, what is that? Talking to this person. I keep hearing this name, Juan Esteban. Over and over again, Juan Esteban. Juan worked for Pablo. Juan's still alive. He's one of the few. I need to talk to Juan Esteban. It's not going to be easy, but it's what I do. Looking for Pablo Escobar's money in Colombia.
We're picking up discrete anomalies all over this area.
You are effectively kicking a hornet's nest. Let's fire this up. Let's go. As hard as you can. Welcome to the world of the stupidest thing I've ever done. The danger here is extraordinarily real. ¿Tienes un arma? You will get killed.
And we got a security situation here.
Moving.
Oh, you get something solid under there.
Barrel.
Yeah?
Full of money. Some of them might have $1 million.
Pablo Escobar made a lot of money.
That's right there. Oh my word.
I guarantee that no one with our background, our skill set,
We've got scientists with us with some really special equipment.
has ever previously looked for it. Let's go. Let's get it and take it. Okay? Listo?
They know for sure Pablo Escobar was here.
Every step of the way,
It's worth knocking down walls.
we're getting closer and closer to the truth.
Ahí anclaban el submarino. Ahí debajo de la roca.
Is this the bunker?
I guess so. There's some stuff scratched into the wall.
We're looking for
Pablo Escobar's money.
While Doug's hitting the streets of Medellin to track down more sources, turning over more rocks, I'm in Bogota to search for information about Pablo's buried millions. My first goal is to confirm there's proof enough to continue the mission. Is there hard evidence specifically about his buried money? How were they buried? Where were they buried? What's been found? I'm at the newspaper El Espectador to get into the archives because you can't just Google this stuff. This newspaper is an incredible resource, the oldest newspaper in Colombia, and Pablo Escobar's public enemy number one. The newspaper has uncovered a lot of his corruption.
Pablo Escobar's famous coletas. I understand you guys have quite a bit of historical documentation on the search for coletas and how many have been found.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I can find information about The types of places Pablo buried his money, the types of items he buried. What was his MO, his modus operandi?
So this is November 1989. It was found over $5 million in 3 plastic cans. And this is 1990. So they found over $30 million, $33 million to be exact, both in cash. And here the authorities got its hands on over 150 kilos of gold right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
This archive has a wealth of information. I find photographic evidence of these coletas. I see photos of gold bullion that Pablo buried. Wow.
Yeah.
Decked out of gold.
Yeah, so
that's insane.
Yeah, pure bling bling, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they invented it.
I see plastic barrels full of cash buried in the ground, jewels, guns. I see this happening over and over again all over the country. I've seen the evidence, it's there, it's been dug up. Looks like the military and national government only recovered around $100 million. That's just a fraction of Pablo's billions.
You can't have all this cash just lying around, so you have to bury it and in safe houses or properties so people who trust it.
Right. According to Colombian law, and with the permission of the government that we do have, anything we find has to go back to the Colombian government. But the finders get 5%. Are there any more coletas in Colombia? Is there more cash to be found, more gold, more weapons? Are there places that haven't been hit? That's what we're here to find out. Spies like face-to-face communications in private locations. I need to make my way to Medellin to meet Doug, brief him on what I've uncovered, so we can plan the next phase of our mission.
Alright, dude, tell me something good. What'd you find?
I found a lot of good information in the archives. It looks like these coletas are all over the place.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. Perfect. It's not hearsay, it's not a story, it's not a myth, it's not a legend. Here's a fact.
You got us a target?
I can show you what I got so far. I only got a couple leads. I'm hearing that Juan Esteban is the man to talk to in the barrio. He's infamous. Definitely had a role in Escobar's empire. He did run drugs for him. He's living in and has always lived in the barrio that Pablo Escobar built for him. I want to run him as a source. And the goal is to get to Juan Esteban, period. I've set up a meeting with 2 of the key DEA agents in the history of Pablo Escobar. They've offered to help Ben and I and give us whatever support they can. This is really crucial.
Steve Murphy and Javier Pena are the original DEA agents that were heavily involved in the search for Pablo Escobar. They worked for the United States government in the 70s and 80s, in Colombia, in Medellin. They were right there in the thick of it, watching it all happen. We wanted to bring Steve and Javier to give us some boots on the ground knowledge about Pablo's network and all the places he might have hid money. They were pretty motivated to come talk to us. I think if they were 20 years younger, they'd be doing the search themselves.
Have you guys been to Colombia before?
First time.
First time, yeah.
Beautiful country, you know, great people, but you're dealing with the remnants of the Pablo Escobar Medellin cartel.
Maybe the biggest question is, do you guys think there's any money out there?
The profits were billions of dollars. What do you do with all that cash?
Well, we know for a fact that he and his sicarios did shrink wrap money, and they buried in coletas and caves, holes, whatever they could find.
But then they would kill him. That way nobody knew where all this stuff was at. So that's what you're up against.
What's your read on Juan Esteban? What do you think of the man?
Juan Esteban, they call him El Alacrán, Scorpion. Juan was with Escobar in the barrio, so he knows a lot of the secrets.
Is it worth trying to get in touch with him?
I think it is, because if there's anybody that's alive that knows, I think he's one of the guys that would know that. Extremely violent. There's a guy you don't want to mess around with. That's a guy that I would never trust. That's how dangerous he is. Listen, when you guys go up to barrio, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. And people will stare at you. Everybody in there views you as a potential target, which means everybody in there to you is a potential threat. Is that our guy?
That's your guy, Juan Esteban. I made some calls. You got some contacts. You have a phone number, and then you're going to take it from there.
Absolutely. mindset of speaking with a guy like Juan on the phone is that he doesn't want to be on the phone, and I don't either.
Las que sea, parce.
Claro. Really, in the first phone call, that's the message that I need to convey is, let's do this as quickly as possible so both of us can get off the line.
Bueno.
But, let's do this again.
Sí, muy listo.
And let's do it again and again until you're willing to meet me in person.
Sí, solo una cámara.
Our cover is documentarians. I explain all I want to do is come and interview you. I want your permission to come to your barrio to speak with you. And yes, I will have a camera. So are you cool with that?
Tengo permiso. ¿Cuándo y dónde?
He's given us his blessing for now to come through his barrio, but we'll see how it stands once we arrive on the X.
Nos vemos, parce. Ciao.
Before you go and meet any source, you gotta have a plan.
We got the meetings place here. That's Pablo's barrio. In 1982, this section of Medellin was a garbage dump. And Pablo Escobar built over 1,000 homes in this neighborhood. He was the Don. He knew all the people, and he had secured their loyalty for life. And there he had thousands of people to protect him, to watch out for him, to hide things for him, possibly money, and effectively created a fortress. Barrio Escobar was a war zone. He provided motorcycles, guns, and money to a lot of these poor kids with nothing to do. There's not a lot of ways in and out of the barrio that doesn't take you through more barrio. So if things go south, hits the fan, we're gonna think about how we're gonna get out. That's incredible view.
Juan is expecting me, and he's given us his blessing to come to his barrio, but we'll see how it goes when we're face to face, on his terms and on his turf.
This place is already much busier than I'd like, man. Medellin is about the size of Chicago, 2.5 million people, and it has about the same murder rate, 700 people a year, and it's in neighborhoods like this barrio. The police say there are 100 different gangs and 14,000 teenagers involved in them.
We good on the way?
As a case officer, I've seen worse, I have, but everybody's turning to look at us the second we drive by. I'm looking at body posture, is it aggressive? I'm looking at their clothing, is it baggy? Are they able to conceal weapons?
Get this dude with a Pablo Escobar shirt on. El Patron.
This is his turf, he knows probably everybody in this neighborhood.
There?
Even the dog knows we're here.
All eyes on me, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, well, here we go, Joe Vengo.
Alright.
On me, huh?
Yeah.
We have the approval of the Colombian government to search for Pablo Escobar's millions. So, I'm meeting with one of Pablo Escobar's ex-minions, and it's possible that he knows where Pablo Escobar hid money in this barrio.
Juan Esteban is by nature a very dangerous man, and from what I've heard, he still runs the barrio, he's still in charge. To be able to wield power in a place like this barrio where people have seen crazy amounts of violence, you have to be threatening to some degree yourself. Yeah, we might get really good access, really good information, but we also are putting ourselves at risk. We got some people on the rooftop watching. You know, I don't know if they're local lookouts or just curious kids, I can't tell. I don't see any weapon, but they're definitely watching Doug.
Caballero, sí, ¿cómo te llamas? Juan and I are feeling each other out. You know, two dogs. You know, smelling each other like, who are you? Where did you come from?
Tengo mucho crazy
Remember I'm the guy that told you I was going to bring a camera? Here I am, there's no camera yet. I'm unarmed. I respect you. Kiss the ring. I'm just here to film. Just here to get some information about Pablo Escobar. Hey, guess what? You're in charge of the barrio that bears his name. That's all this is.
Algo delicado. ¿Sí?
He has to trust me, and not just trust me, but I want him to like me.
Quiero escuchar tu historia. Mi historia. Yo llevo 30 años en este barrio. 33 años cuando Pablo Escobar nos dio las casitas. Que fuimos trasladados de un lugar que le decían el basurero.
Right now, I have to care. I have to turn off chess and play checkers. I can't be thinking second and third order effects anymore. I actually have to listen. Tell me your story and tell me everything.
Hasta que el señor Pablo Escobar vino para nosotros.
Entiendo.
It's getting a little more active than I'd like. This is about as long as I feel comfortable letting him talk about right now. He's pushing a limit here. The hairs on my neck are going to start raising, and then I might just call it off. I might just pull up and just say, Doug, get in, let's go, interrupt the meeting right in the middle of it.
Sé que Pablo puso mucho dinero en el barrio.
Aparte de lo que él pudo aportar, mucho dinero también se perdió.
I think we're both feeling comfortable enough right now that I can start to introduce some of the tougher questions. ¿Cuánto dinero había?
Mucho dinero, mucho.
Loco. Abundancia. Dime.
Bodegas, caletas, casas desocupadas.
Lo entero.
Podría existir la posibilidad.
Dime.
Entonces ya si hablamos de eso. Listo, ahora sí, vamos de aquí.
My first meeting with Juan went pretty much as expected. I didn't expect him to give it all up on the first date. I think it's because he doesn't want the government here, and he hasn't been able to discern yet if I'm with the government or who I exactly am. So we have to reassess.
Buenas. ¿Cómo estás?
¿Qué hubo, llave? I'm going to have to continue working him over the phone until we get a second meeting.
Para que sea, parce.
We want to get into the barrio again. We want another shot at looking for that money.
¿Por qué piensas eso? Buenas. ¿Disponible?
There are a lot of reasons why someone would want to work with an intelligence officer.
¿Hablaste con él?
Sometimes it's for ideological reasons, sometimes it's revenge, and sometimes, most of the times, it's money.
¿Y tú qué quieres? ¿Qué más?
Juan's motivation? Money.
¿Qué piensas?
He asked me, do you want to see this safe house where Pablo Escobar stayed? Yes, Juan, I would.
Claro. Nos debería traer equipo para escasear algunas de las cerradas y pisos.
Convincing Juan to allow us to bring the ground penetrating radar in was not hard at all. With this technology, we may be able to find the money that you were never able to find. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Nos vemos, parce.
Ciao.
We slip him a little cash, and he gives us the keys to the kingdom. So I have called in my tech team. They should be on their way here, and I'm gonna run them through stuff they got, stuff they can potentially bring to the barrio. They're geophysicists, so they're total tech guys.
You'll translate for me then.
Yeah,
All right.
of course. I speak their language. Technology is going to be a huge part of this mission. Working at the CIA, you get used to working with the best of the best. Doug can get us to that X, to the location, but what do you do once you get there? How do you maximize your time? Well, the technology is going to make that search a lot easier for us. Hey guys.
Hey, Ben.
Paul, nice to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
Let me introduce you to my colleague.
Ben is giddy like it's Christmas.
This is Doug.
Hey, Doug. Good to meet you.
What's your name?
Paul.
Nice to meet you, man.
This myth has been around for 30 years. A lot of people have probably been digging. We're going to need very sophisticated technology that can see through walls, that it can look through the ground, that it can find metal or almost anything that's buried. I'm really geeking out.
Why don't you show us what you brought?
high-resolution metal detector, your typical hobbyist metal detector. You can see maybe 6, maybe 8 inches down. This can see down about 10 feet. What else? We also have a drone.
This drone can fly hundreds of feet in the air and give us a high-res aerial view of the target zone. It can give us a super high-definition 3D topographical map of the area.
We can see every bicycle print, footprint, anything that depresses the soil slightly. So we have a series of ground-penetrating radar instruments.
Last but not least, the GPR, the ground-penetrating radar. This machine sends radio waves through cement, dirt, even walls. It shows us the shape of the object, whether that's a safe, a void in the ground, a barrel, anything.
Let's box it up. We're ready.
We're heading to the barrio with a lot of very expensive equipment, but we're also under the protection of Juan Esteban, so hopefully we don't tango with any unsavory characters.
Es mi parce, es mi llave. Benjamín, tu amigo. Benjamín, mucho gusto. Vamos a buscar. Okay, vamos.
This safe house is a really good lead. What safer place to hide money than a place that you would hide yourself?
Momento, el tiempo. Esconderse acá. Acá, sí.
Juan has probably been looking for 30 years. Just right here, right inside this door, all the way to the back. And looking at us now with our specialized equipment, he gets a little excited, and that's a good sign. Now, as a safe house, it makes sense. It's really hard to find. It looks exactly like the rest of the houses on the block. There's a lot of entrances and exits, a lot of easy places to hide. I'm looking for alterations to the apartment. False walls, trap doors, hidden compartments under beds and beneath kitchen floors.
How long do you think it'll take you to get to this room?
We'll sweep it. See if there's any targets there.
And hopefully, if we're lucky, maybe some money.
This wall here looks like it's cinder block with a cement facade and some plaster.
The GPR could probably see right through that if there's something behind there.
Hold on. It's on the floor. Actually, look at this.
That looks like it's been cut out.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like it's framed in. Yeah, there's definitely something like that. Yeah, it's pretty big. Yeah. That's right there in the center, yeah. My expert opinion is there's a big chunk of metal there.
Let's tear this floor. That looks like it's been cut out.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's framed in.
We've been allowed to search one of Pablo Escobar's safe houses in the barrio.
Yeah, definitely could be right.
This is where he ate, this is where he slept, this is where he could have hid money. So this is a great lead.
My expert opinion is there's a big chunk of metal there.
Doug and I, we've already decided if we find money, we want to give our percentage back to the community that Pablo Escobar destroyed. We're not doing this to get rich. We didn't join the CIA for the money. But personally, I'd like to score. I'd like to prove that we did it.
We whip out the GPR, and with this equipment, we can peer through the concrete floor to see what's setting off the metal detector.
Okay, ready to go?
Yep.
The GPR sends out high-frequency radio waves, which bounce off objects in the ground. So if there's a box or even just a tin can, the radio reflections will show us the relative size and shape of that object.
Seeing shallow peaks, something's going on.
Okay.
Done.
So if you look at 5 and 6. Okay, so 5 and 6. This is where it is right here. Yeah.
And going up 1 to 300?
Yeah.
Pretty much 6.
So right here, there might be something right up there.
There's definitely something like that.
Square things do not exist in nature. Whatever is there has to be man-made. Because of its size, it could be a safe, could be an ammo box. Whatever it is, it's square and big enough to hold large amounts of cash.
Putting in work, man. Let's see what's under there. What are we looking at?
play something here.
I'm gonna have your,
Whoa, what's that?
Oh, dude, that definitely looks like a box.
My eye catches the corner of a square object. My heart starts to go crazy. It starts beating fast. I just broke the top of the box. Let's break out that snake cam.
bend it around the corner.
Empty. Pablo could have hidden money at one time in this box. It's big enough for thousands of dollars. Hollow. Yeah, hollow. But now, there's nothing inside. I hate to say it, but we might have to swallow our losses here and move on, guys. It convinces me that we are on the right trail.
Okay, I'm excited. The technology worked, but a human's gonna take me to the X. You look at Juan's information, and it's pretty legit. Just I need to press him for more.
Nada. Es solo basura, mi amigo. Solo basura. Vamos a otra casa donde probablemente vamos a encontrar algo. Vamos.
It's clear that he thinks I'm about to dig up millions for him. He's thinking, ooh, maybe I should show him the places that I have had my eye on for a long time, but just don't have the manpower to dig up.
Cualquiera de esas casas que se encuentran en estos lugares, cualquiera de esas casas le abría al hombre. Pablo, estuvo hasta aquí en 1990, 91.
There's this gigantic open field on the main drag in the center of the barrio. As we're walking past it, I see this kind of grin on his face start to develop. What? ¿Qué es? There's something about this piece of land. I mean, they're overpopulated. People are spilling out of these houses. Why wouldn't you start putting buildings up in apartment complexes? Something is not adding up.
Tiene historia que Pablo venía y también trae a aquellas personas que él tenía que cobrarle sus osadías o cobrarle sus vengancitas por ahí.
Really? Now it's no longer buddy-buddy. You gotta switch to, you just told me some real. Let's get real.
Si tenía que mandar a traer un man para algo, acá lo traía. Con Pablo. A mí en la calle, algo enterrado como Tito y tocaba.
We know Pablo killed and then buried the people who had previously buried his cash. So then that way only Pablo knew where the buried cash was. Pablo buried things here that he didn't want you to find. So what else could be in this field?
Podemos buscar ahí.
This entire field is lying open for a reason. This would be where you would bury money.
Claro que sí, vamos a buscar.
Generally, what skills developing CIA do you think will be helpful as you go down there?
A good CIA case officer is someone who's pretty streetwise, someone who's traveled enough to know their place on the streets and be aware of their surroundings.
The only thing I would add to that would be being super comfortable with paranoia. Somewhere.
You sound crazy.
I know I sound crazy, and I know that I sound crazy.
Now I'm listening to you as a civilian and it sounds weird.
Alright, let's do it. Me and my partner Ben are on the hunt for Pablo Escobar's millions. Our first big lead, Pablo Escobar's former safe house, ended up a bust, but I think we have an even better lead with this field. One was definitive. There are things buried in this field. Bodies, definitely. That makes me think, possibly cash too.
It's a big field, there are potholes everywhere, giant spider webs. These plants look like they were grown on an alien planet.
Oh, look at a net. I walked into a net. I'm gonna go back and forth, make a 3D map of the field. See depression, changes in vegetation from recent growth.
That drone is taking thousands of photographs of the whole site.
This is well for looking for bombs.
It could pick up things we don't want to find. Bodies, guns. Of course we're after money, but there's a lot of history in this field, and who knows what we'll dig up. Within minutes, we're able to compile all the data from the M61 and the drone, and we can see everything about this field that we couldn't see from the ground level.
Pink is metal. It's a lot of pink.
Pink blobs show that there's metal buried in the ground. Because we have a lot of them in the field, we have a lot of work cut out for us. Whenever you plan an operation, you have to plan for every contingency. And a key part of our technical package is an excavator. Juan knows the potential of this field, the history, he knows what could be buried there, and he's all too eager to let me bring it in.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, great. See how he's gonna handle this here. If we can dig through those holes faster, if we can dig deeper, and we can hit more and more of those sites, we have a better chance to hit pay dirt and find something interesting.
We're going to be going to the target one by one, and we'll always stay in line of sight.
I'm a little bit on edge. Juan is right behind me. I can see the wheels turning and the smoke pouring out of his ears. All the hamsters are running. He is trying to calculate what he gets out of this situation. Watching out for the GPR team. They can only see so far. If you have an elevated position, well, you can see much further than them. I'm watching as the day goes on, and people start to get off work, and it starts to heat up. The music starts to get louder.
I'm so zoned in on the digging that I sort of forget the larger operational environment. As I start to look around, I can see people everywhere. The excavator is stirring up a lot more attention than I want. We came up on this side here. We found a couple big boulders with rebar to distort our readings.
Dude, if we find something, what are we gonna do?
We thought we'd try over here for the trees. The trees need a lot of water, so if there's a hole, a big recess in the ground, that might be a good place to look.
It becomes extremely real if we find something. And that danger is at a 10, because one, he's armed, and so are 50 people that work for him. That's a small army.
Hey guys, you can hear over the debris. Yeah. Tell me to stop for a second. Let's go and stop and check it. Hey guys, oh, there's definitely some metal in there. You see it? Oh, it's big. Looks like it's part of a motorcycle.
This could be a huge sign.
Oh, there you go.
If these parts are from people who were killed and buried with cash, we literally could be standing on millions of dollars right now.
My heart's racing. I wonder what we're gonna find.
Oh, I would.
The farm is the center of the Escobar family. Looks like there's some kind of cement bunker down here. Pablo returned there while he was on the run.
You're picking up discrete anomalies all over this here.
Oh, he hit something solid under there.
Barrel.
Yeah?
I get a phone call, and it's Popeye, Pablo's main assassin. He tells me he wants a face-to-face. Welcome to the world of the stupidest thing I've ever done. The risk is high. The reward is unknown.
¿Tienes un arma?